Okay, I seriously thought I heard something upstairs. That kind of freaked me out because it sounded like someone was walking around. Happy Halloween month, you guys. We're back for another Halloween inspired video. So if you're ready to talk spooky, I'm ready to talk spooky. Let's do this. Alright guys, are you ready to talk spooky? Come on, it's Halloween. Who doesn't like a spooky story? Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into it. First book I got was More Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I do have the first one, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and this one's the More Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. The Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is more like spooky stories, but then at the end it'll say like, now stomp your foot and scream, you know? It's kind of the element of surprise. And I did it with my kids and it actually worked, but it would work on me. So, because I'm just like one of those, like, put the light on while we watch this, you know, whatever. But, okay, so getting back to the first one, I'm going to read you just a little short story called The Wreck. So this one says, Fred and Jean went to the same high school, but they met for the first time at the Christmas dance. Fred had come by himself and so had Jean. Soon Fred decided that Jean was one of the nicest girls he had ever met. They danced together most of the evening. At 11 o'clock, Jean said, I have to leave now. Can you give me a ride? Sure, he said. I've got to go home too. I accidentally drove my car into a tree on my way over here, Jean said. I guess I wasn't paying attention. Fred drove her to the head of Bradley Road. It was in a neighborhood he didn't know very well. Why don't you just drop me off here, Jean said. The road up ahead is really in bad condition, and I can walk from here. Fred stopped the car and held out some tinsel. Here, have some, he said. I got it at the dance. Thank you, she said. I'll put it in my hair, and she did. Would you like to go out sometime to a movie or something, Fred asked. That would be fun, Jean said. After Fred drove off, he realized that he did not know Jean's last name or her telephone number. I've got to go back, he thought. The road can't be that bad. He drove slowly down Bradley Road through a thick wood, but there wasn't a sign of Jean anywhere. As he came around a curve, he saw the wreckage of a car ahead. It had crashed into a tree and had caught fire. Smoke was still rising from it. As Fred made his way to the car, he could see someone trapped inside, crushed against the steering column. It was Jean. In her hair was the Christmas tinsel he had given her. Oh, okay. Come on. Who doesn't like spooky stories? Am I right? Okay, so I went to the bookstore today and I was chilling in the cafe and I got a couple of young reader books. One of them is an illustrated book by Neil Gaiman, and we all know and love Coraline. I just watched this the other night. If you guys have not watched Coraline, it is just, it's freaky. It's amazing. But this is the illustrated version of Coraline, which is so cool because it's almost like a comic strip, but it's so detailed. Oh, there's the other mother. So Coraline is this little girl who basically finds this door in the house that she currently lives in with her mom and dad. They seem like the typical parents, you know, they're busy, they live paycheck by paycheck, and it's kind of hard to pay the bills, and there's not much food in the house. So it's kind of one of those deals. And Coraline decides to, well, you know, I'm going to see where this door leads me. It leads her to her house, but kind of on the other side. Sounds like a stranger's thing, doesn't it? So Coraline sees her other mother, who's in the kitchen making this huge feast for her. And the twist is they have buttons as eyes. So eventually, you see where I'm going with this, the other mother and the other father just want Coraline to become part of their world. And you see, of everything that we could give you, you could have a better life. Guys, it's freaky on the freak factor. It is. You gotta watch Coraline. I absolutely love Coraline. My kids love Coraline. It's definitely something that is good for the Halloween season. My next young reader book is Dracula. Who doesn't love Dracula? This is a classic and is an illustrated version as well. And oh man, look at that. I love books like, I never really liked books like this before, but I'm kind of becoming more of a book nerd and I just want to collect everything. Coraline, by the way, is by Neil Gaiman, and I will list everything down below of everything that I'm showing today. And then Dracula is by Bram Stoker. Yeah, okay. My next book is by an author who I absolutely love, and I've read a few of his books, but the first one I think is called Too Close to Home, and it was a page turner. I would say more of a psychological thriller, but his name is Linwood Barclay, and this is called Elevator Pitch, and this is his newest book that was literally just released last month, I believe, or the beginning of this month. Anyway, this book about a serial killer, an elevator serial killer. So it says, it all begins on a Monday when 4 people board an elevator in a Manhattan office tower. Each presses a button for their floor, but the elevator proceeds nonstop to the top. Once there, it pauses for a few seconds, but the doors don't open. Instead, the elevator begins to descend floor by floor. Then it plummets right to the bottom of the shaft. It appears to be a random accident, the kind of thing that seems to happen all too often in a city like New York. Crane collapse, subway fire, elevator malfunction. But on Tuesday, it happens again in a different Manhattan skyscraper. And then Wednesday brings yet another tragic high-rise catastrophe. In only 3 days, one of the most vertical cities in the world and the nation's capital of media, finance, and entertainment is plunged into chaos. Clearly, this is anything but random. This is a cold, calculated bid to terrorize the city, and it's working. Fearing for their lives, thousands of people who work in high-rise across the city refuse to leave their homes. Commerce has slowed to a trickle. Emergency calls to the top floors of apartment towers go unanswered. The mayor, already embroiled in a growing scandal, is desperate for answers. Who is behind this? Why are they doing it? Are these deadly acts of sabotage somehow connected to a fingerless body found on the High Line? 2 seasoned New York detectives and a straight-shooting journalist race against time to uncover the truth. The city's newest and tallest residential tower has its ribbon cutting on Friday night. With each diabolical twist, Linwood Barclay ratchets up the suspense building to a shattering finale, pulsating with tension. Elevator Pitch is a riveting tale of psychological suspense that is all too plausible and will chill you to the bone. I haven't started reading this yet because I'm currently in another book that I'll show you in just a minute, but I cannot wait. You guys, Linwood Barclay, literally page-turning author. He's on the New York Times bestseller author. Stephen King even said, great book. I mean, come on, you gotta try it. Okay, so the one I'm in now is called The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. This was a book that I had seen another blogger talk about, and it sounded like my kind of book. So it's about these 2 people that meet at an airport, I believe on the plane itself, and it was a man and a woman. And so, because it was such a long flight, I believe they were taking off from like London to LA or something like that. It was just a long flight. And they decide in just kind of brief conversation, like, hey, you know, you want to play a game? And so he decides to come up with this game that we can ask each other any question and we have to be totally honest, right? And so it basically leads to him indicating that he wants to kill his wife. I guess she's cheating and there's hardship in the marriage, but this woman wants to help him. It's a twist. It's really good. I haven't finished it, but I will tell you, it seems, some sort of lethal game thing that they got into this cat and mouse chase stuff, but I can't wait to finish it. So that is the book I am currently reading. Also, I have been getting into true crime. I don't know if anybody's interested in true crime, but I have been doing some research on some stories that seem a little bit crazy. And I have two in general that I want to tell you about. And one of them, the first one, is about a girl named Eliza Lamb. And she was a college student who actually was diagnosed, I believe, with bipolar, and she was on medication for it. However, she had ended up in this hotel, I believe out in LA. And you guys, I will put the story down below. You have to go see this surveillance footage. Okay, so here this girl is, okay. She is proceeding to board an elevator and you see her like literally pushing all these buttons, right? And she's standing there kind of normal, and then all of a sudden she darts to the right and she's like up against the wall and she's like doing one of these things, and you start to get the impression, is someone following her? Is she scared? What's going on? Then she just briefly just comes out and she starts to look to the left and the right, and then she comes back in, and then she does it again, and then she hops out of the elevator. She goes off screen for a second, comes back on screen, and she's literally doing these gestures, and you don't know what she's doing. Like, there's no one there, okay? She's not facing totally down the hall. She's almost at an angle, but you see that no one's in front of her. And all of a sudden, she starts to do these hand gestures as she's almost indicating that she's speaking to someone. But guys, no one is there. And the twist, the elevator doors never close. Why? Why are the elevator, I'm getting goose pimples here. The elevator's doors never close. They stay open this whole time. She comes back in, she's hiding in the corner, she's all distraught, and then she disappears. No one knows where she's at. Her mother puts in a missing report, some time goes by, and now the guests at the hotel start to make complaints downstairs to the front desk. Water pressure being low. I think the water at one time appeared to be black. And it got really bad to the point that they had to send maintenance up to the top of this building, the hotel, with these water tanks, these huge, massive water tanks, to uncover the naked body of Eliza Lamb. So, how in the world did this girl get there? How did she climb up to the top without a ladder, get to the roof, no less? How? And then manage to climb in the tank, take her clothes off, and then meet her demise. Like, you guys, this story was spine tingling. The footage, go look at the footage. You're gonna wish you didn't do it at night. Let's just say that. So that's that story. My next story is about the Jameson family. This was really interesting. Apparently this family seemed to have some underlying issues. They were in the process, they had a little girl, I believe she was 6 or 8, something like that. In any case, they apparently were getting ready to take some sort of trip to go possibly look at and purchase a 40-acre plot of land. And there is some surveillance showing the Jamesons going from inside the house out to the car about 20 times or so. What was odd about this is that they almost looked like they were in a catatonic state, because they weren't even talking to one another. They were almost like just, walking out and dropping off their stuff in the truck and then going back in the house and passing by each other, but almost as acting if nobody else is there. Very weird. Okay, so I heard along the way that they stopped somewhere for directions, then they found where they were going. However, these 3 people ended up disappearing. And some time went by. I believe it was just a few days when the truck was discovered. Now here where it gets really twisty and crazy. Upon investigation of the truck showed all of their belongings, their wallets, their cell phones, and the family dog was still in the truck, locked. So you say to yourself, okay, hold on a second. They're not going to leave the dog behind, right? Why would they do that? And just so you know, the dog's fine. It was not, obviously, because he had been dehydrated so badly that he was very weak and lethargic, but they were able to, rehabilitate the dog, and now he obviously is okay and living with a family member. So moving beyond that, they also found about $30,000 of cash in a bag. Okay, now we all know they're getting ready to go buy a plot of land. However, were they trying to leave town? Were $30,000? I mean, what about if you don't buy the land? You just, let's just take the $30K and put it in the sack, and if we use it, we use it. We don't, we'll leave it in the truck. No one's gonna do something like that. No. So they put out a search for these 3 family members, mom, dad, and the little girl, and to no avail. The nearest woods that were around, they looked. Okay, so apparently there was a hunter. I believe there was some hunters that came across what they suspected were human remains, and turned out to be the Jameson family. There's also a camera that was recovered that shows probably the last picture taken of their daughter. And I will tell you, you guys, straight up gave me such chills, because it shows this little girl leaning against a rock, what appeared to be in woods, and she's just kind of making this face like she was scared. Like whoever was taking this picture probably wasn't mom or dad. Was she witnessing something bad? What was going on? She looked terrified. So they found these remains, which were bones. But this particular area was already searched before. So where did they go? Where did they disappear to? What happened? They were all face down, side by side to one another. The only indication, because they were so badly decomposed, that was bones, they can't really tell the cause of death. However, the father's skull had a hole, almost maybe appeared to be a gunshot, not sure. This is where it gets a little twisty-turny. There's so many conspiracy theories to this Jameson family story, because they're saying that the mother, I believe, got into some sort of witchcraft. I have no idea, but it was said from their pastor at their local church they attended that the father, Mr. Jameson, had asked the pastor if there were any type of special bullets to help ward off ghosts. So that was that. There was another conspiracy theory saying something that they got involved with the cartel or something with the mob. I don't know, but some sort of money problems, and maybe they were just trying to leave because they knew they were in danger. The story is, it just leaves chills. Just go, take my word for it. Go watch it. It's amazing. But yes, so those were the 2 stories I wanted to tell. And as a bonus, I'm going to actually tell a story about something that I experienced as a kid. And is pretty freaking freaky. So I'm originally from Long Island. I was born in Amityville. Yes, the Amityville Horror House. Yes, I know, get it all out. I hear it from everybody. So I lived on Long Island in a city called Central Islip. And at the time, my dad was a contractor. He worked for himself. He basically did flooring, things like that. And my mom was going to Suffolk Community College for a 2-year law degree at the time. And she went to school at night. So typically I would be home alone. I mean, we're talking, this is like the 80s, we don't have to worry about stuff that you do today's world, right? So my dad was working and my mom was getting ready to leave for school. And I remember she had a little bit of a drive. So I'd be home alone, which was fine. That was fine. And they always checked in at a certain time because, we didn't have cell phones then. We had landline phones. And I was to stay indoors, locked, whatever. So my dad's gone, my mom leaves, and about an hour about an hour goes by and my phone rings. So I don't know who's calling, right? We didn't have caller ID. So I answer it. And this guy on the other side of the line says, "Is this Angel?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, are you home alone?" Oh, yeah, like I'm going to answer that, right? And I'm like, "No." And he goes, "Yes, you are, because your dad's working and your mom just left for school. And I'm on my way to kill you." And he hangs up the phone. Guys, I'm not joking here. Okay, so this guy knows my name, knows my father apparently is working, and knows my mom apparently is on her way to college. Okay, so it's got to be someone that knows us. What is going on? So now I'm freaking. I'm like, okay, I know what to do. My mom told me what to do. Before I called 911, which probably was the first thing I should have done, I'm calling my mom's school. I'm basically telling them what happened to go get her so she can come home. And then I call 911. Okay, so I do all that. And while I'm there, I called my best friend. And I told her, she only lived like a couple of blocks away. And she's like, "Oh, heck no, I'm going to come over and save the day." Oh, right. Two, like, what, 12-year-olds, however we were like, a bunch of badasses, right? Okay, so she comes over and I'm not by myself. The phone rings again. Now, no one's there yet, and it's dark. I mean, it is dark outside. And I answer the phone, and he's like, "Angel?" "Yes." "Who is this? What do you want?" He says, "I'm getting closer, and you're going to die tonight." I just hung up the phone. You guys, the moral of the story, we have no idea who this person was to this day. Have no idea who that person was. And this is a story that I will probably never, ever, ever, ever forget. So that is my little spine-tingling bonus true story. And if you have any spine-tingling true stories, or if you're currently reading anything Halloweenish or like to add to this, please, please, please drop comments. And if you enjoyed this video, show me some love. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you guys can get alerted on my next Halloween-inspired video, which will be very soon now. You guys, I have so much stuff in store, and in 2 weeks, me, my family, and you are coming with me to the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. Yes, that's Mickey back there, and I'm ready for that. So stick around, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.